Did you really think the Ezra Miller revelations would stop? If you did, you're incredibly naive. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Yes, welcome to the channel and welcome to today's video. More revelations about Ezra Miller. This time he has a house, a farmhouse. He's housing children, a mother, guns and drugs. And apparently one child even put a bullet in its mouth. This is a 1-year-old baby. You can't be reading this, Ezra Miller fans, and trying to hashtag Ezra Miller is innocent. Ezra Miller is as innocent as Genghis Khan and Jack the Ripper put together. Enough already. You're not going to see your little Flash movie. And you can keep on screenshotting these Flash movie comic book panels. It's irrelevant. It's just a comic book. You're never going to see the Flash movie. You know that, don't you? You understand at this point that Ezra Miller will not be headlining a Flash movie next June or anytime at all. Please tell me you understand this. This is the latest of many revelations. The latest revelation is actually from Rolling Stone, a very respectable 40-50-year-old publication. A publication that's been very good about exposing Ezra Miller. Last time they did it, a WB source, yes, source, because they're too gutless to come out directly and talk to you and me, the consumer. So a source said it was an exaggeration. No, Warner Brothers, it wasn't an exaggeration, it was the truth. I understand that you spent $200 million on this movie. You want that money back and you want to make a profit. You can't make a profit on this movie. Not just because of Ezra Miller being an absolute nut job, because the movie is absolutely flawed. You spent over 2 hours trying to create something new on the bones of somebody else's work. You also deleted My Man Superman, as I keep on boring on about every day, and I'll never stop talking about Walter Hamada's shitty Superman plans. Remember a year or so ago, a couple of years ago, James Gunn teased on Twitter he knew Walter Hamada's plan. I was so excited at the time, came to this channel, did a video and said, yeah, James Gunn knows the plan. I'm sure Walter Hamada's got something really exciting planned for us. Because I didn't know they were going to use a Flash movie, a movie that reboots the whole franchise and starts again finally and does something exciting, which is what we thought, right? Because I was as naive as you lot still are. I thought this was going to be a celebration of the entirety of the DCEU while moving forward. That's not what this film is. So, the Flash movie is a clusterfuck on its own without the problems that Ezra Miller brings to the release of that movie. The Flash movie needs reshoots. They need to think again about Superman. And if the plan is still to reset this universe via the Flash movie, they definitely need to go back and rewrite and reshoot this movie, remove the director, remove the writer. In other words, it's back to the drawing board. Or they can do what they did with Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was Justice League at the end. They can rewrite briefly and reshoot the Flash movie with a new lead. But that's still very, very clumsy, everyone. And it's still the movie that deletes Superman. This is the mess that they're in because incoming CEO David Zaslav understands this. Understands that the problems within the Flash movie and the extended universe are beyond Ezra Miller. And what do? Do you keep on trying to shine a turd? Or do you stand up bravely and say, this shit is not working. We're gonna lose money. Let's lose money. So they're the latest revelations about Ezra Miller, if you're interested. Now, as soon as these revelations came out, James Gunn teased the return of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and apparently, this is a rumour by the way, that James Gunn is developing a checkmate project. So what is checkmate? Well, if you know your DC, you'll know that Smallville, this is something else that from the pantheon of the DC universe that Smallville has touched on so well as the JSA and everything else they did. So, Checkmate is a nefarious organization created by Amanda Waller to do even worse things than Task Force X do. So that's what Checkmate are. They even, in their headquarters, they have like a checkered floor. They actually did this in Smallville. It looked fucking great. Smallville always made the effort to be very faithful, or at least adapt the comics in the fun way. So it's a distraction, everyone. He's pretty much posted a picture, James Gunn, on Twitter of Margot Robbie's Harley. And then one of these shield DC fan sites saying blah, blah, blah. And he goes, that's a good idea. Well, of course, he's responding to them because he's been put on Twitter. He's been told to post that to distract from what's going on with Ezra Miller. Every time Ezra Miller is exposed, they do something else. This is their go-to. Oh my God, Ezra Miller's been exposed. Amber Heard's been exposed. Oh, I know. Let's pretend we're making something, right? Now, I'm quite sure the James Gunn corner of the DCEU will continue to do what it says it's going to do. People want to watch James Gunn's DC content. It'll be on HBO Max. He's been reduced to HBO Max now because his Suicide Squad movie flopped. And it flopped for a multitude of reasons. And I'll explain to you now. Number one was the pandemic, admittedly, and day and date. But that wasn't the overriding factor. A lot of people, nearly half the audience, haven't forgiven James Gunn for his historic tweets, mocking or joking about children being abused, right? That they were supposed to be jokes. So, understandably, that's a serious thing for people to forgive. Now, even though I think it's a disgusting thing to joke about, I can let it go because I'm a very forgiving person. And I love DC at the end of the day, and no children were hurt by those jokes, you know. But it isn't good, is it? So that's another reason. So it's going to be interesting how his Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 does as well. Look, James Gunn isn't the completely popular figure he was pre the revelation of those jokes about children. Let's be clear about that. So it's interesting. So he's going to be under the protective umbrella of HBO Max. And I'm sure he'll bring Margot Robbie back eventually. But isn't it interesting that even Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn has been reduced to streaming? Meanwhile, Lady Gaga's apparent musical Joker sequel, where she plays a brand new Harley Quinn in the Black Label universe, will be celebrated with pride in movie theatres. So there's a big change coming. While feminist and extreme leftist Margot Robbie and propaganda merchant will be reduced to streaming along with James Gunn, Todd Phillips and his team will have a brand new Harley Quinn, and I would say she is the real future of DC. Hopefully. We don't really know the direction DC is going in right now. But of course, James Gunn hinting about Margot Robbie's Harley coming back in one of his projects is a distraction from the Ezra Miller situation. There's no action. They have no plan of action. Their only plan of action is to distract you every time something uncomfortable is revealed. This is how incompetent these people are. Now, I don't know how much David Zaslav has to do with that because there are two sides of WB. There's the Warner Brothers Discovery side, like there used to be the Warner Media side of it, where they genuinely wanted to clean up the studio, but Toby Emmerich and Warner Brothers Pictures wouldn't allow it, and there was this incoming civil war. It's happening again. It's a bit like, you know, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni versus Kathleen Kennedy. It's there, even though they pretend to show a united front. There's no united fronts in the entertainment industry. It's a corrupt industry full of criminals and, you know, extremist politicians. That's who these people are. We've lost the talented people for the politicians, and that's why most of your entertainment today is so underwhelming. And this is why I'm so burnt out, everyone. When I started this channel, I was so excited. So excited. Even though we were fighting for the Snyder Cut and we were building up to Aquaman, the first Aquaman film, I was so very, very excited. Because I saw the trailers for Aquaman and I thought, this film looks great. And I'm going to keep on fighting for the Snyder Cut as well. We got both in the end. Isn't that brilliant? Wasn't that a brilliant result? You can celebrate Zack Snyder, and if you like the current universe, celebrate that. But here's the thing. I could do that back then. But what can I celebrate today? 5 upcoming movies we may never see. Yes, everyone. We have a situation now that although Shazam Fury of the Gods and Black Adam are scheduled for later this year, they could be postponed again till next year. And then next year, delayed again, and again, and again. Let's not forget where Shazam Fury of the Gods is placed 5 days after, what's it called? Avatar. Avatar Ways of the Water. You know, the hugely anticipated Avatar sequel, one of the most successful films of all time, and it's a really good one. I'm looking forward to that sequel a lot more than I was a few months back. Do you really think they're going to release that movie, Shazam Fury of the Gods, 5 days after that movie? No. There is no way to go but another postponement. I'm sure of it. Now, this is interesting because we know that David F. Sandberg has said he can't use his original composer and he's using an MCU composer whose name escapes me right now. So from the outside looking in, it at least looks like they plan on releasing that movie in December. Because if there's one movie that's untainted and actually is the way they want it to be and for the audience they want it to be for, is Shazam Fury of the Gods. December is a great release. I probably still think that I would release it away from Avatar. But there's no wiggle room anymore if you want it to remain a December release. Of course, it wasn't originally a December release. It was going to be released next year. And I don't think, was it going to be the end of next year? I have no idea. It's a fucking mess, everyone. It's a joke. So we have these 5 upcoming movies. We discussed yesterday that David Zaslav hates, yes, hates, the Black Adam movie. David Zaslav has ordered more test screenings. And you know, how many test screenings can a film have? How many reshoots can a film have? And this film's already had plenty of reshoots under the guise of finishing touches, which are the Rock's words, not mine. So every day we come here and we see more revelations about Ezra Miller, and we see how much worse this franchise is. It's not a franchise. It's not anything. And it's difficult when you're as passionate as I am about this stuff, because I love DC live action. I grew up on DC live action. DC live action is my food and drink. Superman the movie, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4 wasn't a great movie, but I still enjoy elements of it. You know, Batman 89, Batman 82, the Val Kilmer movie, even the George Clooney movie. So I've grown up on DC live action. Then the magnificent, you know, blue touch paper moment of Smallville. And then Arrowverse, the early years were amazing. We've had some really good DC live action, but it's been inconsistent, no question about that. But I've never seen DC live action be on such a low, be on the floor in the way it is now. It's like this thing that only a few people are actually excited about now. And it's, as I say, it's difficult because you go on Twitter and you get these people trying to, trying to still insist that The Flash will be released in June and how exciting it is and the Flash prequel comic and this and that. And I'm supposed to get excited about all this stuff. But I can't, because I know it's a mess, everyone. I can't do some fake excitement for you because I'm simply not that good of an actor, and I've actually trained as an actor. Not even I can bullshit this for you. I can't. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. The halls of powers at Warner Brothers, the halls of power, at Warner Brothers Discovery right now are panicking. Yes, they're fucking panicking, everyone. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether to release these movies, cancel them, start again. Personally, I think the future of this franchise is on streaming. That doesn't mean I'm trying to say that these upcoming 5 movies go to streaming, although it's certainly a possibility at this point. I didn't think it was, but it is. But they've got decisions to make, and I don't know. Look, every day I go on Twitter around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, because that's the time America wakes up, so my time basically. Waiting for the big news that action's going to be taken about Ezra Miller that they're going to announce ahead of DC Studios. And every day there's nothing apart from propaganda after propaganda after propaganda. And my friends, it simply isn't good enough. You know why? Because you and me deserve better, because we are the paying customer. But these days, Hollywood is so arrogant, their bubble is so large and it's growing larger, that they believe we're not important. The paying customer isn't in charge. They actually believe that we'll watch whatever shit they give us. And we've seen what they're doing with the revisionist attitude to reboots and relaunches of existing, iconic properties like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who. We've seen what they're doing. They're destroying them every day. It's funny to go on streaming and see the Netflix original come up, or the Paramount Plus original thing, or Star Wars originals, or whatever. There's nothing original about today's industry. It's also funny that everyone's copying the MCU's little logo at the start. Whether it's Star Trek, Star Wars. Isn't it great? Everything's a little fucking franchise today. No standalone movies anymore, not really. It's all about the franchise, and it's ruined entertainment. Not the franchise thing alone. It's the mentality of these propaganda merchants, these extremists running entertainment today. I'm sure some of you wish we could go back to the so-called good old days. There is no going back. They've opened Aladdin's cave. They've rubbed the lamp. There's no going back. All we can do is continue to make our voices heard. But in terms of the DCEU, you should be under no misconception that this franchise is dead. Yes, dead. There is no fixing the DCEU. There's no chance for the Flash movie to make any real money. Probably the same for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. If they insist on Amber Heard being in that movie, what a fucking mess after sacking Johnny Depp as well. So everyone, this is where we are. The fans are blind, while behind the scenes, Warner Brothers Discovery are even blinder. They have no plan. They have no plan of action. They don't know what to say or do next. We are in an actual checkmate. Yeah, just like the DC group that Amanda Waller set up and James Gunn may be developing. It's checkmate, everyone. We're here, they're there. What happens next? What decisions will Zaslav actually make? I can't wait to find out. And when I do find out, you'll find out. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more DC talk. Maybe it won't be DC talk. Maybe it'll be Star Wars. Maybe it'll be Quantum Leap. It could be absolutely anything. Maybe I'll review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I've actually really enjoyed that film the second time around, and I really have some nice things to say about it as well. I know, right? Fancy that, me saying nice things about the MCU. So until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.